time for the November update while I'm on my lunch break. Lots of stuff going on. It's kind of going through the greenhouse, finding things that are drying out, basically. Like this Myrceria cuspidata. This is the biggest one I have, but ironically, it's also the one that has like these really tiny leaves. And I'm not sure why. Like if we look at the other one, like there's one over here, I believe. Yeah, and I kept them all in the same spot until I potted them up. But like, here's another cuspidata, and look at the leaves on this one. Like, there's a huge difference. I'm not sure what the deal is. Like, same batch of seeds, same species, different results. And that little leaf one grows so much faster too. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what's the difference? Who knows? I guess we'll see when they fruit if there's any difference at all in that. But yeah, and I did a quick November update earlier. But just to recap on that, we've got some flowers starting to form. Let me get in here. Hard to see. Flowers starting to form on the anomaly in a couple spots. We had some fruit on the scarlet. And this thing is like crazy. Like once it started fruited, like it just doesn't stop flowering. Like it has flowers all over it. Much more precocious than the red, and the fruit I think is a little better, but the red is definitely easier to take care of. So we look at my red here, and it's pretty precocious. I missed out on picking some of this fruit because I've been very busy, but we got another wave that's ripening up now. And just like a whole bunch of activity. Like this is the craziest this thing has ever looked. Just all the way up and down the tree. We got the squeezed one here. Good to focus on that. Look at that, nice and squeezed. Let's see, this ant is farming something on it. What else? The Broncovino has flowers that are starting to really show on it. I think aphids are starting to get on there because I see an ant. It warmed back up, and the pests are taking advantage of it. What else? I came through here and started, like I said, pulling things out, potting things up. Trying to think, there was definitely a couple of like Eugenia anthropophagas that I potted up. I potted up the grafted Arasa on Patongatuba, which is doing okay. It's definitely taking its time, but the graft is healed up. I pulled the tape off, you can kind of see the union there. So it's definitely taken. Time will tell if it actually holds and is productive. But so that one I potted up some of these pepper plants. The Zildark I potted up. And then a couple I put in the ground out front in that new spot, which I'll cover here in a minute. But yeah, so I'm still having to go around and just kind of find things to pot up. Got some tomatoes coming in. Let's go see the destruction out here. So I had this katuk growing, and if you look at my older videos, it kind of took over time and like completely shaded everything out, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but I do kind of want some light to come in here, so I'm going to have to keep these under control a little bit. I'll probably keep it at about shoulder height, that way it's not overtaking the canopy. I really just wanted to provide like some late afternoon shade for some of this stuff in here. Like I've got some Eugenias in there, the couple of Rapondas. There's a purple forest guava right there. And then the other thing I noticed after clearing this out is I have this black pepper vine that my mom left here like 2 years ago, and I only recently found it. Like I was like, oh, it's still here somewhere. I really don't know where it is in the ground, but it's definitely everywhere now, and it's starting to vine up the side of this screen here, and kind of wondering if it may have flowered and fruited already. I don't know. Like it's pretty big. Like you can kind of see it all in here. It's like all the way over there. kind of like it. Makes everything really tropical, so I don't mind that it's growing up the screen. I'll just have to keep it under control. It's really pretty looking. So that'll be cool if it, starts taking over this side and gives it a little bit more dappled light. Then I can remove the katuk completely. But just kind of looking at it from this side, you can see this ginger. This is the shampoo ginger over here. It starts to die off this time of the year, so I came in and pruned it back because it was leaning over some of this stuff, which is good for cold protection, but I don't necessarily need it for the plant setter over here. I want them to have a little bit more sunlight. Like this Coronata Jabo right here probably wants a bit more light, so we opened it up for it. Some other things that I've done since last doing a long video, I did the peanut butter and jelly video, but I planted my blackberry jam fruits to the left and right of this peanut butter fruit, and they seem to be doing pretty well in the ground. I was kind of wondering, like, oh, they won't do good here, but apparently they're fairly cold hardy for our area, 9B. And I think they were just too wet in the pots. Like, the soil mixture wasn't quite right. I tried adding more perlite to it, and still just didn't like it. So maybe it was too acidic. I'm not sure, but since I put it in the ground, it's starting to lose a bit of that chlorotic look. So I'm guessing they're probably, I don't know, maybe I should have used more of a normal like garden mix on it rather than my perlite peat moss combo. But here's the other one over here. You can see how it was really chlorotic. Like, they were still growing, but now that they're in the ground, I think they're doing better. So, and that's, there's a blackberry jam there, some pigeon peas here, giving it a little dappled light. There's a pawpaw right there, a triloba. I think it's just a seedling. And then the peanut butter fruit. And then we got, I thought this was a Carolina Reaper, but I get my seeds mixed up all the time. I haven't been tracking them very well, but this actually is a 7-pot bubble gum. You can kind of tell because they look like a chewed up piece of bubble gum, but they also have this like crazy looking calyx on the top. And this is a chocolate variety, or at least originally it was a chocolate variety. It could have crossed with something. It looks kind of gnarly. Like, maybe it is crossed with one of my Reapers. That would be cool. But the original parent of this, if it is the chocolate bubblegum, the whole thing turns brown all the way up the stem, which is not normal for peppers. So that's kind of a cool characteristic. But yeah, over here in the African bed, the imbe are doing pretty good. You can kind of see as the African potato mint dies back, which it does every time this year, kind of starts to flower and die back. The other imbes are becoming visible. There's this one here, and then there's this one here that wasn't doing too hot for a while, and it finally started pushing out new growth. I think it was just working on roots, honestly. We got the Sanford that we put in the ground around this time last year. It's doubled in size. It's doing very well. Takes the full sun, no problem. Cambuca is huge now. At least huge compared to what it was. Hopefully it'll double in size again next year. This red is doing well. Got a random loquat in a pot that I forgot about, which I'm sure if I potted it up, it would probably save itself. And I don't really care about loquats too much. I like them, but I don't really want to propagate them too much. Let's see, the Superior Lemon Drop over here still got a fruit on it. I did manage to get one that didn't have a fruit fly in it, and it wasn't even covered. So I'm guessing that one fruit fly was just kind of a fluke. But this fruit's actually getting pretty big compared to the other ones, so it's still green. So we'll keep an eyeball on it. The tree looks fantastic. Let's see what else. These seashore mangosteens are doing good. They turned a little bit yellow when they got cold. Have some in pots. The one in the pot over here, or on the other side of the bananas, it was pushing out some new growth, and that cold snap kind of burnt what was exposed to the air. And didn't hurt the tree, but the new growth looks like trash. Same thing happened to the achacha. I'll show that. Let's see. Pretty much everything in here is looking good. This black sapote is growing at a snail's pace. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is called an Astero Giant. I think it's the same thing as a Tice. And it hasn't even been in the ground a year. When I got it, it was, I think, like up to here. So it's doubled in size and branched a couple times. So I'm hoping that's going to provide a good amount of shade in this corner for this monstera, which looks pathetic right now. It gets pretty dry over here because the heat. It's pretty much in full sun all day. Not the best spot for a monstera, but it's still alive. I'm sure once we get through the cold and it starts raining again, it'll come back. If it starts raining again. We've had a drought for a bit. It wasn't super rainy this year. But let's see. This Inga spectabilis is chugging along. Had a little bit of dieback, but still got new growth coming out on it. I'm not worried about it. We got a couple of star fruits off the tree so far, and they're actually pretty good now. They're like bitter and like cottonmouthy if you ate them like years past. They didn't quite ripen up on the tree, but I think now that it's pretty established, it's doing pretty good, and the fruits are okay. Tastes like your typical star fruit, but it's always good to have some fruit around. And the star fruit's making fruit when no other tree is making fruit, so I'll take it. But yeah, this achacha here, slowly starting to adapt to its location. I have had to hit it with the water. Like it's just not established, and the soil here is not great. So I've just been kind of throwing scraps around it just to try and keep it, keep the soil building up over here. Any plants that I let die, I'm just dumping over here too. And I'm keeping all these yuccas or cassava just around to kind of shade it out a bit. I know it appreciates that. But what else? Oh yeah, I apparently have a seedling from my passion vine growing there. Keep an eye on it. I don't want it to get out of control, because I mean, you really only need one vine. You get hundreds and hundreds of fruit. So I'm just keeping an eyeball on it. But I'll leave that there because we do have a species of caterpillar that comes in and eats all the passion vines. So keep it there for food, and if it starts getting crazy, I'll just remove it. Let's see, these jabos back here are looking okay. Again, it gets pretty dry back here, so they look pathetic. But I'm hoping as the canopy over here establishes a bit more, and the more organic matter I throw down into this swale, it kind of builds up and retains a bit more moisture. Let's see. I've planted another, this is the Pitanga banana hinga, or the Eugenia anthropophaga. Put one here. I've got a smaller one that I put over on the other side last year. But this thing dried out on me. This is why it looks like this. And I didn't feel like potting it up, so I just put it in the ground. I always planted a little higher than the soil around it, so I'll have to get a little bit of mulch to put around it to keep the soil from eroding. Yeah, I think it'll do good in that spot. Let's see. Oh yeah, this Garcinia lemon drop. I think this is just the circular, regular lemon drop. Pushing out a whole bunch of new growth. It didn't seem to mind the cold air, unlike the other Garcinia. I would say like these are probably the most cold hardy that I've seen so far, along with the Imbe. Yeah, they were uncovered, and it got down to 34, which isn't that cold for them, but the wind chill was in the 20s, like the low 20s. And because it is a little lower back here, it's a bit more protected. It's got this tree here protecting it, the Dovialis hybrid. So like up here, the achacha is a little bit more exposed to the wind. So that might be why it's damaged compared to that one. But Yeah, these pacuries are still in here. They're growing at a snail's pace, just like all the other Garcinia. They'll take a few years and they take off all of a sudden. Like they very quickly grew like 2 sets of leaves, and then they just kind of stagnated. So I've just been letting nature kind of grow around it, and I've been chopping and dropping it. Like this time of the year, it's good to expose them to the sunlight a bit more, because this UVs aren't as intense. And then I'll let the growth go back up again and protect it from the intense sun of the summer. Which in the summertime, the sun's like right here right now, but it kind of goes more like directly over the house in the summer. So I'm hoping that some of these plants will have grown up a bit more, so they get some afternoon shade, because they're lower to the ground. These things don't have to be too tall. We'll keep an eyeball on them. This Luke's still existing. It looks healthy. I think it's going to push out new growth soon, but I think the cold and the warm and then the cold again, and now it's warm back up, it's kind of confusing it. So it looked like it was saving up some energy, like in the tip there, to push out. Like its sibling that I have in a pot in the greenhouse has pushed out new growth. It looks pretty good, but it's been more warm over there because there's concrete, and I put it in the greenhouse, and it's been above 40 degrees, where this one got down to the low 30s over here. Unbothered by it, but I think it does change the metabolism a bit. Yeah, let's look at the loops just so you can see what I'm talking about. Interestingly, like the leaves that were on top, you can see they got kind of mangled, but then the ones that were lower down and actually protected by this leaf has less damage on it. This one got completely obliterated. Again, top leaf on this one got messed up, but the one on the bottom is fine. These ones over here, this is aphid damage. There's some ants in there farming them, but once the leaf hardens off, it won't matter. And then here's some more like just awkward like wind damage. Like the cold wind really messes this tree up. This isn't the first time I've seen that happen. Like even just like high winds, like the hurricane when it came through, kind of messed things up pretty bad for it. But as long as this thing stays hydrated and not too messed up by intense sunlight, it seems to exist. And I think like this hasn't been in the ground. It's been in the ground for, it'll be 2 years, I want to say. I'll have to go back and look. Like 2 years next year at some point, probably in the spring. And I found that seems to be the timeline for when Garcinias in the ground start popping off. Like once they've had some time to really get their taproot down and established, they will explode. What else? Katuk, again, champion, like Tampa 9B, probably all the way across from Tampa to Orlando. You can grow these. I know I've seen one. I've seen videos of some in Orlando. I've seen them in Lakeland, or videos of them in Lakeland, and growing well here on the Tampa Bay side, unprotected. I don't have this thing on irrigation. It's a very, very strong tree. Actually, nothing back here is on irrigation. So it does, like once you get into the front, I do have irrigation going. But I've never seen this thing even droop from drought. So just an impressive tree, and I hear the fruit tastes good. I've never had a chance to try it. But no one has ever said they don't like it. So I'm very excited to try the fruit on this tree, but it's about, I'm gonna guess 4 or 5 years old, or at least starting its 5th year, somewhere around there. I think I've had it in the ground 2 winters, something like that, maybe 3. I can't remember. This might be its 3rd winter, and I've never covered it. It got down to 28 degrees one day for a few hours, and it didn't even lose leaves. And honestly, the only time it ever drops its leaves is when it's pushing out a new flush of new growth. So like, I think I've done a video on that before as well, but like sometime in the summer, like half the leaves will turn yellow and fall off, and then all of a sudden it'll just explode and be completely green like this again. So the persimmon is over here is a Ichigaki Jiro, non-astringent variety. Didn't get any fruit or flowers this year. I do see a lot of buds on it this year compared to previous years, so I'm hoping we'll get something off of it. This isn't a tree that I want to get, let get big, so I'll keep it pruned back, which is fine if we get fruits here and there off of it. But yeah, it does pretty well. Doesn't have like pretty heavy requirements. I don't fertilize it at all. I mean, that's not true. I do come through once a year and probably throw a bit of like the citrus tone or garden tone around it, but not a whole lot. Let's see, these jackfruits, just kind of like the Quaimuck, honestly. Like, they're just incredible trees. They're super hardy. We've got below freezing for like an hour or two. Again, I mean, it's up against the house, which helps, but just very impressed with the durability of this thing. They are seedlings. I remember I directly sowed them and had some squirrels try to dig them up. I think they're about 2 years old now. What was that? Closing in on 10 feet tall. So we'll keep an eye on them, keep them pruned up. I don't want to have gigantic trees and have 30-pound fruits falling out of the sky on my head. So we'll keep them pruned up low, keep them topped off, probably around the height of the house, and they should do pretty well in this spot. Like, they're protected on two sides from wind. Typically, when we get a hurricane, the wind is coming from this direction or this direction, so we really get some wind whipping through here. But when it's cold, the wind comes from the north, so it's protected from any kind of wind chill. So this is really an ideal spot for a jackfruit. Yeah, so let's go and look at actually let's look at my Sabra. This is my biggest one. It's actually pushing out a lot of new growth. Again, I think a lot of the plants are confused because we had cold and then it got warm, so the Sabra decided, I'm going to push out a bunch of new growth. And it looks fantastic. It's closing in on 6 feet tall now. It's taller than I am. I'm only like 5'9". So we're getting some good size on it. I think this tree is 5 to 6 years old. I've had it for, gosh, I don't know how long at this point, probably 3 or 4 years. And when I got it, it was, basically that size. You can probably see one of my original videos about how big it was, before I put it in the ground. But I think we're getting potential flower activity on it. There's like, if I zoom in, there's like these little bumps all over it. And some of them are very curious looking. So it's really hard to get in there and see. They really are just kind of like little funky bumps. On my Instagram, I did a close-up picture of one, and it doesn't look like a new branch is popping out. So I'm assuming they're flowers, but I don't think they typically flower and fruit this time of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I think if it was going to this time of the year, it would have done it back in like September. So I'm guessing it's storing up a bunch of energy, and then once winter passes and it warms back up in the spring, it'll probably big flush of flowers. Fingers crossed. So we'll see. The Suriname cherry didn't make me any fruit this year, but it sure did grow a lot. This is the Zildark. I'm not a big fan of them, but I kind of miss not having them this year. Like, they're not my favorite thing to eat, but I feel like the more I have them, the more it grows on me, and the more I kind of want to eat them. And but I have been pruning it, which I don't think it really appreciated that too much. And again, it was really dry last year, so that may have been a problem. Actually, is that a flower right there? Yeah, look at that. It did flower at some point, like recently. Speak of the devil. So I guess we'll probably get a couple nubbins off of it. But yeah, that's an off-season fruit though. Let's see if I can see any more. I think that's about it. But yeah, they're pretty good on this one. I think it's just a Zildark seedling. It's not like a grafted tree. So I'm not sure how it compares to a official Zildark. But they're sweet, tart. Got that like green pepper flavor in it. But here's my purple, no, not purple forest guava. This is the rainforest plum. Was it Eugenia Candoliana? This is its, I would say, first full year plus in the ground, and it's, you know, probably tripled in size. I've had it for a few years. Got it as like a little teeny tiny seedling. So I found out recently that you probably need a pollinating partner to get a lot of fruit set on it. So I'll probably be reaching out to folks to get a couple of grafts of some good varieties on this thing once it gets a little bigger. I'll wait until it flowers before I do any grafting on it. I put an orange cherry of the Rio right, can't see my finger, it's right up right there. So that's a seedling. I put one of my Trunciflora, the Ribeiro dos Cascais from the Vilela collection down there. It's actually doing fantastic in this spot. I've got this tropical sage kind of just giving it a bunch of dappled light. So it's getting dappled light all day. I think it's going to grow pretty fast there. And it's right next to this Galangal. Let's see. Yellow Drabo, still no flowers on it. It's pushing out some new growth. Looks good. So it gets real burnt up in the summer from the heat. But this time of the year it pushes out and it looks good, so I'm not worried about it. It'll probably look ugly just because it's in the full sun, but yeah, that might just promote it to have even better fruits. So, and I'm sure as it gets older, it'll be able to retain moisture a little better, and you know, this will be more filled in, so it'll shade out the forest floor, so to speak, a little better. Let's see. We'll go around this side and go to the front and call it, because we're closing in on 30 minutes. I got a star fruit here. Oh, actually, one thing I want to point out, and I got to finish this off today, is so the katuk I took apart, or pruned up, I threw all the branches over here. And so I'm going to try to do something kind of crazy. And I mean, it's not crazy, it's just, you know, I'm expecting to fail and hoping to succeed. And I'm going to do the most I can to make this work. But I want to plant a breadfruit here. I do have a Ma Afala breadfruit that I got from Gene's Tropicals, which I did a video on a little bit ago. And I was thinking of seeing what I can do, like maybe keep it in a pot the whole time, but I know they just want to grow. Like any of the Artocarpus, they just want to grow. So it needs to be on the ground. And probably the best spot to put it, like they get about, you know, 12 feet tall, 12 feet wide. Ma'afala is a dwarf variety. I think it's pretty common to find in Florida. If you're going to find one in Florida, it's going to be that one. But I think right here it'll be good because it'll have protection from the frost from the oak trees. You know, this is all probably going to be a pretty decent windbreak over time. As it gets bigger, I expect it to kind of form a canopy up over here, which is what I want. I want this to kind of be like a nice, like tropical canopy. So I've got the banana right there that's been there for a while. So I've been building the soil up around that. Not so much on this side. I've got a lemon guava right here, which can just be an understory tree for it. So there is a bit of soil building here, but I haven't really touched on specifically that spot. There was a jackfruit seedling in there, actually, if you go back and look at my videos, and it pittered off. I don't know why. It might have gotten a little too dry, so that's why I need to work on the soil here. So I'm going to be piling and piling and piling stuff here. And we'll maybe plant it. I might plant it early and just dig out around it and like amend the soil. I don't really want to do that, but you know, I want it to be, I want it to grow enough to get established before next winter. I might have to build a structure for it while it's smaller, just to cover it up in case it does get below 32. But my long-term goal for that is I want it to be big enough to where it can survive below, like, small periods of below 32. There's a very rare possibility, low chance that we do get an extended freeze in our area, but that hasn't happened since like the 70s. So either it's never going to happen again because of global warming, at least in my lifetime, or I'll get really unlucky. But we are Zone 9B, Border 10A, so I think it is possible to do it here with a lot of work. But anyways, what are we at? 30 minutes? Let's close this off. I'll just do a quick fire round. Here's the seashore mangosteen that got a little toasted. But you can see, yeah, I don't know why. I guess it's pretty open right here. Like, so maybe the cold settled. These macrophylos are still doing good. It's like full shade this time of the year here. So nothing really gets cooked in the sun. Although nothing really grows either. Let's see. This Patomba seedling in there is growing slowly. Patanga tuba flowered. I don't know if the fruit set this time. We may have gotten lucky. This would be like its second year with no fruit, but lots of flowers. It looks really good though. Look at that. Nice and green. Still no fruit on this June plum, and it's massive. I want some dang fruit, man. Strawberry guava, making a nice little hedge, little privacy hedge. Got a couple of fruits off of this year. They're pretty good. And then my other Patanga tuba, the cherry of the Rio there. This pomegranate's doing good. Here's my huge jackfruit. Same age as the other ones, but there's only one there, so it's a little bigger, I think. Grafted sweet tart. Key lime's doing good. We got Grimmel Jabo here, which is not really having a lot of activity other than like I do see some flower buds on it, like down here. Yeah, try and get it to focus on that. Let's see. But they kind of started growing and then stopped, so I think they're going to hold off until it's the right weather. Let's see. This ice cream bean is getting massive. And then here's my new little area. So we got the other Sabra here. This one's 4 years old. Grimmy was doing good. I got all this grass up and mulched pretty good. Everything got fertilized before I put the mulch down. Put a ice cream bean here as well. Dole pineapple, just from the top. And then another Nersera cuspidata, little red seedling that I directly sowed right here years ago, growing at a snail's pace, but it'll probably speed up now that I took all the grass out. And the Luke's Garcinia. So that's pretty much it. So let me go over here and show in the greenhouse real quick, just kind of what's going on with that, and we'll close off. Show the breadfruit, how it's got a new growth coming out on it. And the cacao is kind of cool too. That's going to go on the ground on the corner back there. But let's see. Here's the breadfruit. Be careful stepping around in here. So it pushed out some new leaves. They're kind of cool looking when they come out. They're like all crinkly. It's kind of like a little pod that comes out and they burst out of the pod. But these leaves are just so awesome. They got a nice like rough texture to them too. It's like sandpaper kind of. What else? This cacao has some flowers here. I see some other little flower buds popping up on it too. Definitely got a good deal on this. It's like $120 for this, and there's a whole bunch of new growth coming out on the sides. Probably flowers. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and call it and get this thing uploaded. So anyways, thanks all. Have a good day.